Alright, just as we predicted, the Frank Stone story trailer was released today to coincide with the 8th anniversary stream for Dead by Daylight. Which is weird, because the 8th anniversary isn't actually till next month. But whatever, I'm excited because we know more about Frank Stone. I mean, they called it a gameplay trailer on YouTube, but it features nothing but cutscenes and dialogue, so from my standpoint, I think we gotta call it a story trailer. Which is, I think, pretty accurate, by the way, since it's absolutely loaded with huge new revelations. So let's dig into it right now. The trailer opens with a pan down the main street of Cedar Hills. Trees are bare, leaves on the ground, but no snow in sight, so this is October, November. Are they planning on releasing the game around the same time of year? We can now firmly state that this is in the 80s. And not just due to the cars driving around. The video store down the street is kind of a dead giveaway. The main feature is the Calhoun Pharmacy, home of the Clown's famous Afterpiece tonic. We've heard a bunch about the guy who should have been running the pharmacy at this point, getting killed along with his friend. So who's running it now? Old Man Calhoun? A hard musical sting and screen roll takes us from day to night in the same intersection. You can tell, because the shoes are in both shots, and the same blue sedan is parked in front of the pharmacy, along with these garbage bags and the mailbox. Now, time for our first dialogue.
Cedar Hills is not exactly a noted hotbed of criminal activity.
Well, somebody's about to be proven wrong. Other than all of the matching items from shot to shot, I didn't spot any other notable information on the street. I'm a little annoyed that I can't read this sign, but it's probably not vital.
What is that?
Here's a cop, who we're going to be seeing more of, since he's almost certainly our prologue character, looking through the grated window and seeing a ribcage on the floor. Giving anybody else flashbacks to our dear departed Ian the Sheep from the Quarry?
That's not entirely true. There was that whole serial killer thing.
So it seems that people know about Frank Stone, unless the serial killings went unsolved? Oh, and absolutely love this black and white footage of him working on the mask. Great vibes here. Now we're looking out the window of the Endless Curiosities antique store. Apparently goods are bought and sold here. This radio makes me wonder if we're going to get an Easter egg in which all of the radios from the teasers show up in the store. Later footage will suggest that this is going to be a very Easter egg intensive location. Note that most of the main cast is hanging out in front of the diner across the street, the adorably named Bomb Burgers, which means that the Needful Things type Cursed Antique Store is directly across the street from the pharmacy. Is that the diner in which the radio was played on an amp in radio teaser number 1? Who can say?
Why do you hate Cedar Hills so much? Used to be like town mascot.
Here's two of our characters chatting about the town. Note that Goth Gal is wearing a Murder Mill t-shirt. This is the movie that was referenced in the Zombie Massacre radio teaser. And I've since been informed that it's a movie about the Trapper, Dead by Daylight's main guy, that was made in the world of the unknown, and features prominently in the movie theater in that villain's map, Greenville. That movie theater also famously showed the Frank Stone teaser, although that's likely more of an Easter egg than a meaningful connection the way Murder Mill probably is. And since Goth Girl doesn't seem to be part of the main cast, is she going to disappear early in the story and we find her corpse later on? This is a fantastically creepy use of the mill. Bravo, developers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present The Mill.
And here's the main cast arriving at it. There's the furnace in the process of being lost to nature, with two of the cast exploring with flashlights. What's with the big flashlight left on its side there?
Spend enough time in my line of work, you realize every place has got its demons.
Now a creepy guy is talking about locations having demons, which is odd. What is his line of work exactly?
Guys, every place has got its demons.
Think that belongs to the boy you're looking for?
Here's the cop finding what might be an ear next to a pile of gore. Yikes. The costume definitely suggests that this is set in the 1960s, as does the jacket of the guy standing next to him. Who, I wonder, is the boy that they're looking for? Now we've got shots of our cast shooting their own Murder Mill style film. Note this guy is also wearing the t-shirt. They've got lighting, camera, sound, but only one actor? I'm guessing it's not going to be that long of a film. This is the t-shirt guy in the cast arriving at the steel mill in a cop car along with a local cop. Is he the son of the local sheriff or something along those lines? Someone is watching them as they arrive. Fake out or Frank Stone? Now that same character has someone sneaking up on him from behind. Based on the hands, it looks like a woman with black nail polish and rings on her index and pinky fingers. Are these the goth gal's hands? We should pay close attention to the other characters. Oh yay, they're exploring the absurdly suspended train car from the screenshot. That means the generator is just below them. This is followed by a jar with a human hand in it, as well as bunches of other jars, and an end of film reel scene transition. Now let's listen to the audio that plays over those shots.
You can't shoot a movie in here. This is a condemned steel mill, Mr. Rivera. I suggest you immediately vacate the premises. And you do not, under any circumstances, set 1 foot back here in the Cedar steel mill. Ever.
So to me, that sounds like the same guy who was talking about his line of work and places having demons. Is that all part of the same interaction that the characters are having with the security guard? Maybe this is Mr. Rivera? I'll be so happy when I know these characters' names that I can refer to them a little more easily. But yeah, this sounds like a security guard or possibly police officer trying to run them off so they don't get hurt while shooting their film in an old mill. There's probably some insurance consequences to that, I'm guessing. Finally, we get a look around the Needful Things store. What's going on with all of those identical iron lamps? Are they from Dead by Daylight? Let me know, because it's super weird to see so many of them hanging in the store. This is where the cast will buy the 8mm camera for their film, sold to them by Audrey, who's definitely an avatar of the entity that is trying to trigger a bunch of horror by encouraging them to make their movie. Do I have any evidence about the character's name or motivations? Absolutely not. It all just seems logical to me. Here's a jump scare with Audrey terrifying the cast as they look at a mysterious roll of 8mm film. Is it a Frank Stone snuff film? If so, why would it be in the store? Oh, and yes, this is Audrey. You can see the sweater on the arm matching between scenes. Didn't see her ring in the earlier shots for confirmation, though. And here's Mr. Rivera massively overreacting to the scream and threatening Audrey with some kind of an absurd spiked bar weapon. Is this another Dead by Daylight reference? Is this a killer's weapon? Well, this is a weird nightmare, isn't it? There's a powered TV in the woods, and a woman in a business suit with missing eyes. Some real Deadly Premonition vibes going on in here. Is this one of Frank's previous victims? Or a vision of one from the future? I'm not saying that the outfit is anachronistic, but there's a disturbing lack of shoulder pads in the pantsuit for something that's set in the 1980s. Also, who's the woman having the dream? Not part of the main cast, not the goth gal, and again, her outfit does not look very 80s at all. Thin suede jacket over 2 layers of shirts? Is this all happening much later than the mill sequences? It's the murder mill poster, and the same anachronistic woman standing in front of it. Are we going to be touching on multiple timelines, and people watching Murder Mill sometime in the future are driven mad because of the events of the game? Here's the director, can't get these names quickly enough, by the way, filming a hand in a jar. This seems much fresher than the last one we saw, and might that be black nail polish? Probably not. It's way too close to the camera to tell anyway. Well, things have officially gone crazy as the lighting lady is being sucked into an Evil Dead door. Also, notice the vertical slats through which the green light is visible. Is this in a shed or something like that? Here's the cop arriving at the furnace, back when it still worked, basically confirming that this is the prologue and he's our playable character. Note the baby in the basket. Is this the boy that he was looking for? If so, presumably it's one of our main characters, who'll discover that they have a connection to the mill much closer than they imagined. The voiceover lets us know that plenty of people were kidnapped and killed, but their bodies were never found. It seems that at some point, Frank changed his MO of murdering people and then burning their bodies. Hey look, it's Goth Gal at the mill! Don't know if she'll be playable, but she's definitely gonna be there. And here's Pigtails getting impaled on a rusty spike. Just a bad bit of luck, or have we seen our first clip of one of the game's presumably myriad death scenes? I'm guessing the second. And now we've got a great big hero shot of Frank Stone. But is it in the 60s or the 80s? does his costume change? Did he even have a costume during the original killings? Or was that an innovation he developed later while in isolation? Lots of bones, skulls, jars with bits of people in them here. Frank's lair, which, as T-shirt guy says, the police seemingly never found. And yes, that's a severed head. Okay, now something is opening a gateway via the concrete, with Pigtails and Gothgal witnessing it and being dragged towards it. Pigtail seems weirdly determined to capture it on film rather than running for her life. Like all of the best characters in found footage films, which this isn't. Is it her footage of some interdimensional entities that drives people to murder when they see it in the theater? This is Gothgal and Pigtails fleeing after finding Mr. Rivera's body. It doesn't seem like the most brutal death, but then again, we can't actually see the bottom half of his body, so... Okay, so, however weird the game might have looked so far, and really, it hasn't looked all that weird, things go absolutely nuts in these next two shots. As an anachronistic woman runs into what looks like some kind of a secret dimensional gate facility? Or a portal to the Phantom Zone? That's just strange. This is followed by some super fast cuts, so let's watch them, and then take it one at a time.
And cut!
Black frame with lines on it. Single frame with what looks like two zombies in negative. Is this a still from Night of the Living Dead? Probably not, but that would be fun. This image follows, and as for what it is, your guess is as good as, or probably better than, mine. Next, we've got the reverse angle of the scene they were shooting earlier, with the director filming Mr. Rivera lying on the ground. Here's the severed hand we saw them kick earlier, followed by an anachronistic woman seemingly inside a trial of the entity, based on the scratches appearing under her feet as she walks. Oh, look! The Huntress's mask is on one of the shelves in Andre's Antiques. I'm guessing we're going to get a lot of cute Easter eggs there. Sadly, the trailer cuts before the player can turn the item and find something out about it, in classic supermassive game style. A person with filthy arms and hands has a sliced open palm. Is this the cop? Seems like long dark blue sleeves, which his outfit has. Close up on T-shirt guy's Murder Mill t-shirt. They're going to be selling these, right? Because I absolutely want one ASAP. Or, hey, behavior. If you're sending them out as part of press kits for people covering the game, which I'm right here, I'm an XL. Here's a close-up on a lady's face, but who is it? An anachronistic lady? Oh, look, the entity is breaching reality. That's gonna be problematic for people. Here's a close-up of Mr. Rivera in the daylight. Interestingly, the wall behind him is rotting corrugated steel. So maybe they'll be at the mill in the daytime as well? Here's the new key art for the game, with the entities forest in the background and Frank Stone creating a cutout for the mill and main cast. Also, there's now a camera and a spool of film. Why is Pigtails looking at us? Does she know we're watching her? Is this her with the final line?
When you make dangerous cinnamon, you walk a dangerous line.
This is followed by some odd images as the film runs out. Nothing notable yet, but keep them in mind, as they might turn out to be somehow significant later. So that's the new trailer. It's absolutely packed with interesting information, especially considering how brief it is. Now, I'm pretty confident that we're playing as a cop in the prologue. Will he get killed? Or is this him as an older man with his son? We're left with some pretty big questions, though. Why is so much of the content built around these four people? When Gothgal seems like she's going to be a major participant in the action as well. Is everyone playable but her? More importantly, and I can't stress this enough, what the hell is going on with Anachronistic Woman? The game's trailer seems to be divided into three distinct phases. The cop back in the 60s, the film crew in the 80s, and Anachronistic Woman at some later time period. The portal room she goes into doesn't look anything like the environments that we see the other characters in. And she's the only one we see having a direct interaction with classic Dead by Daylight elements, including a hooking and the trial markers on the ground. Also worth noting that both the dimensional gate that she approaches and the portal that the lighting lady dragged towards glow with the same green light. Is that machine bridging time or different realities? Obviously, it's way too early for any concrete guesses about the plot, but we've got a huge amount to be excited about. Okay, I've got to make a last-minute addition to the video. For some reason, it never occurred to me to actually read the YouTube description. I just downloaded it and moved on. But there's kind of something huge in here that really really goes out of its way to make us question reality. Because, A, they establish that yes, it's the summer of 1980, and that the characters are making a horror movie. That we know. The twist is, the horror movie they're making is Murder Mill, as they describe it here, a soon-to-be cult classic with an insidious influence. How does this 8mm film, made by a couple of young people in a small town in Oregon, end up on giant movie screens, driving people to mass murder? I don't know, but the fact that they're making Murder Mill is quite a revelation. Especially since the Murder Mill we know about isn't about Frank Stone. I know this is going to sound crazy, but is the Trapper created when a bunch of filmmakers fictionalize the life of Frank Stone and turn it into a movie? Does that somehow will him into existence? Most importantly, the title is the casting of Frank Stone. Are these characters the people who cast Frank Stone because they went out to the mill to make a movie and he became the villain in the movie they were making? Ergo, they're the ones who cast Frank Stone as a villain. All right, I've officially gone too far down the rabbit hole, but wow. Okay, apparently YouTube descriptions are a great place to find information that will then blow your mind. The real question, though, is, of course, when is this coming out? Well, there's still no good info about that. We're still being told it's 2024, which is a good sign, but on the other hand, the ESRB hasn't rated it yet, which means we're not likely to see it very soon. The very bad sign is that there's no original Dead by Daylight chapter coming until December. The whole next 6 months is all going to be licensed characters. Now, this doesn't mean the game won't come out before then, but if Behavior is planning on releasing their Frank Stone chapter at the same time as they release the Frank Stone game, then we could be waiting a full half of a year to play it. All we can do now is be patient and wait for some more news. And hey, maybe that leaker that keeps pre-announcing all of the new chapters will send some info over. That would be convenient. Until we know more, though, I've been the Hidden Object Guru. Thanks for watching. If you had a good time and you'd like to see more, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check out my game, Clown in the Woods, a slasher visual novel that apparently doesn't work on Opera? Yeah, that's a bit of bad news. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. Play it on Chrome. Loath as I am to advise anyone to put Chrome on their computer. That's another story, though. If there's any Dead by Daylight references I missed in the trailer, please be sure to mention them in the comment section below the video. I'm trying to expand my knowledge on the subject as we get closer to release. I will see you back here for more Frank Stone news, but until then I'll say that's right. Au revoir.